Howdy doo-dah day, boys. How's it hanging? You thought I was gonna be late? He's never late. I miss you, Asterisk. I see some boys in Gen chat hanging out. No one in the Twitch chat, but that's okay. That's okay. So I'm gonna start this off with the Week 9 review real quick. I know everyone wants to just get to MVP, but I got some shit to do beforehand. Gotta handle the business. Unfortunately, Asterisk isn't here because he's at a convention. He told me multiple times what it is. I still don't remember, but yeah. Anyways, going to be putting the slideshow now. As I always do. So, quickly going through the games that were not yet played from last week that have been now played. We got Spell It Chat versus Desolate. Spell Chat versus GBC. I was in the game, so I should know what it was. Also got Jabeezus versus Hatchling Slashers. So, basically, I was wrong on the Hatch pulling it out. JBZ got the nice 2-1. To be honest, I wasn't really watching the game, and I was just listening to the cast, and I have actually no idea what happened Game 3. Literally not a clue, because, again, I was just listening to the casters. Game 1 sounded pretty cool. Then I got to hear some cool ad-libs, so yeah, there's that. Then we have Spell Chat vs. GBC. I predicted a 2-0, Manuel predicted 2-0. Asterisk got both games right, actually. The actual 2-1. Pretty close series, actually. I felt pretty pressured against Spell Chat. The reverse sweep. Spell Chat pulled out game 1, and then we brought it back in. Pretty rough first game for me. Just getting dove over and over again by a Garen and a fucking Trundle as Mundo. But, yeah. Anyways, moving on to our prediction standings. So we're finally done the whole thing. So this is the final leaderboard. It's actually crazy. So Asterisk was like 4 points behind, and then me and the guest were tied after last week. But Asterisk actually pulled it out of his ass and got every single one right this week. So he's actually tied for first with me, and the guest is in last because we're all tied in points, and they have the least correct winners. So originally the guests were winning, then I caught up, and then Asterisk got the miracle final, every single guess perfect. And I got one of the matches wrong, so he caught up. So kind of crazy prediction leaderboard. I don't know if anyone actually gives a shit about this, but there you go, boys. Anyways, moving on to the final standings. So if anyone who doesn't know, our standings are decided by game 1 percentage instead of the actual head-to-head matches. So that's why, even though Gothbook lost to Vortex, we're technically above them. Both teams are getting a bye, so it doesn't really matter. Then we have a three-way tie between IRL Sluts, Jabeezus, and Spell It Chat at 6 and 3. And if anyone doesn't remember, below that there was kind of a battle between Desolate, Teemo, and Hash for the last spot, and Hash secured that by getting a win up on the other teams, and then also having the best win percentage on top of that, even if they did end up going. Thank you for saying you care, Zed. Appreciate that. Appreciate you. So the matchups as it's going to be in actual playoffs is as follows. So the first round, which is going to be played this week, is Hash versus IRL, so 6th versus 3rd, then 4th versus 5th, with Spell It Chat versus JBZ. So for that matchup, sorry, I'm making the thing pop up, my bad. Basically how it's going to work is once those games are played, then they get reseeded. So basically, since we're number 1, we get to pick who we want to play out of the remaining teams. So if like Hash and Spell It Chat win, we decide we want to play Spell It Chat or something, we can pick them. And then Vortex gets whoever the other winner is. So that's the one advantage of being first place. So anyways, I'm going to go into more in depth the matchups between IRL and Hash and Jabeezus and Spell It Chat. In this segment, I'm going to call Argue With Me. So if anyone in Gen Chat wants to pop in and disagree with what I have to say here about these matchups, feel free. I'll drag you in. We can chat it up. So the first matchup we're going through is Hash versus IRL. And you can hit me up in Twitch chat or in Gen Chat, actually. I have them both open, multitasking. So for Hash versus IRL, these are like their overall team layouts. So if we're just looking purely off ranks and points, top's pretty close, jungle's pretty close, ADC's pretty close, support's pretty close. The main discrepancy obviously being Vaughn in the mid lane against Hyde on Blake. So for me, I think that Hyde on Blake's actually like pretty underrated at like Platinum 4 points. I think he's actually like a lot better than that. Not to discount Vaughn, who's been looking like one of the best mids in the league, but I think he like will not get like hard stomped by Vaughn. And I also think that Little Groot and iGlory is a really even matchup as well. And Freshburger versus Darkstone, Kiyoshi, Tupapi, whatever he wants to call himself, is all pretty close. So I'm going to give it 3-2 to Hash, just based off of kind of, they have a crap ton of momentum going right now. I think they've looked really good with the kind of triple carry threat with Groot, Jackie Chan, and Blake now. And I think it's pretty good. So I see some people yelling at me right now. I don't see Bags in the chat, so I'm going to bring in Nida Zed, who's saying he thinks that IRL still wins. So I'll bring in my boy. And, oh, I see Bags now. I'll bring in Bags as well. Here we go.
Bro, hello?
How's it going?
Oh, shit.
So, I see you two boys disagree with me. You think IRL's going to take it. I only gave Hash the 3-2 because I think it is close, but I just think they got a huge momentum swing coming in. I mean, obviously IRL's been performing good since they got their new roster as well, but I don't know. Something about Groot and Jackie and all the stuff just makes me motivated for them. So what do you guys think?
Well, in my honest opinion, I just think that Vaughn and Ian matched way too well into Blake and Jackie Chan, and I don't think Hash's mid jungle is that strong whatsoever. And I think Freshburger and Kyoshi, they're both
tank players.
Yeah, they're both sort of tank players. Kyoshi plays Gnar though, and he's actually like not bad on it, so he could potentially even beat Freshburger. But honestly, the top lane doesn't really matter. And I think Groot really only carries on whatever they're called, crit ADCs. And I just think that, I mean, if you can sort of deny that, your mid's always going to win. If you can pressure bot and not let him get ahead, then I think they should honestly just throw him over. But
yeah, I'm pretty sure they just like straight roll through early game with Ivan.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the Hash is just going to get like smashed 3-0 though. Like, I still think they take games off because Lil Groot will pop off eventually. But I just think for them to win, he has to pop off every single game, and like I don't think he's going to pop off that often.
Yeah, I think their matchup, like the main thing is Ian only really plays like really aggressively on like Kindred and Warwick, and then for the most part they put him on like tanky junglers, and he's kind of like does his thing right. So I think like Jackie might be able to have an easier time controlling that kind of setup than they did back when they had like CBT.
I don't think Jackie's good.
And then I also think that like Freshburger's probably not going to like in against Kyoshi. Like he had a pretty good series against Reinhardt, who most people say is like pretty good top. I mean, obviously Reinhardt had some like interesting weeks.
Yeah, but say Alex is a little questionable.
Okay, Freshburger is a very mental player, right? I think you'll agree. Like some games he'll just get like smashed, and then he'll just be like, I'm gonna kill myself. Like, oh, I'm not performing well. Put me on Mundo. I just won't leave me alone top lane. But then like sometimes if he's an upswing, he'll start pulling out carry champions. He'll start like popping off and getting solo kills. He'll start blah blah blah. I think Fresh is really feeling himself right now coming into this week, so that's kind of why I think like he'll actually do pretty well against Kyoshi. And then I think, like, as I said, it's basically off of, is Independence going to smash Blake, or is Groot going to, like, beat iGlory?
Yo, 100%.
I think
Vaughn's
actually
going to take his
really
cheeks,
good.
bro.
Like, he's number one stats
yeah, honestly, like
for sure. And I think most people would agree that Two Poppy's probably better than Puff Nasty. But I think just from playing against both teams, like, you feel, when you play against Little Groot, I feel like a little bit more.
Well, I also think that with the champs Little Groot plays normally, they really won't have that strong of a lane. And iGlory and Nahor actually play lane pretty well. So if like you just have your jungler to come down there, they're probably gonna have a stronger 3v3, and they can just deny his like. Because the thing with the Little Groot is that if he ever gets a lead like early in the game, he probably just wins the game from the champions he plays. But if he just loses the lane, top is probably not winning. Mid's 100% losing. And I mean, I don't think Ian's better than Jackie Chan also. So I mean, if that happens, and they just lose all their lanes, and then 100% IRL should win. But I mean, of course, if Hash have like a good player in the game, like a good skirmish, or a Groot gets like fed off of it, then they probably just lose the game.
Ivan breaks out his fucking runic echo Sejuani again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't forget it.
Hell yeah. All right. Thanks for coming in, boys. I'm moving you back out. Yeah, I see a lot of people in Gen Chat especially screenshotting this. I mean, when Hatch takes cheeks, you know, keep the screenshots alive. That's all I'm saying. Not that I'm shit talking the boys in IRL. I mean, I like a good redemption story. Hash climbing their way all the way from the bottom. I gotta root for my boys, since I feel like pretty much everyone else is gonna root for IRL in this situation. So, anyways, moving on to the next matchup, we got JBZ versus P-Hub, otherwise known as Spell It Chat. So this matchup is a lot different in the fact that it's not as like evenly matched up, I don't think. So Charlie Smells versus Flame Dav, I think, is pretty Charlie favored. Most people would agree. 1, 2, 3, KMS or Ropey, whatever you want to call him, versus Gasp, I think is also Ropey favored. And then Josidon versus Rhine is like their main like big matchup they have an advantage in. I think before, like, if you asked me last season, Edzy versus T-Crank, I'd probably go Edzy, but T-Crank plays the shit out of those mages, and Edzy just kind of is stuck on whatever he played last season. And I think that T-Crank's like better champ pool is really going to pull him through here. And then like Sharkbait versus Yangsu is like a whatever matchup, but I feel like just based off of champ pools, like what they can pull out, and also just based off of the matchups in like ADC mid jungle, that they're probably going to be able to win. I think the only way Spellet Chat gets off a game is if Reinhard like pops off again and gets like a really nice cheese pick against Joe, since Joe is a really weird champion pool. So that's why I'm giving them a game, but so I think so. Yeah, does anyone, you don't even have to disagree with me fully on that JBC is going to win, but do you think it's going to be a closer series than I'm saying? Feel free to pop on in. I'm looking at the chats right now. If you lose to Josidon, I'm removing you. True. All right. Looks like most people don't really disagree with me here, because I'm not seeing anyone saying anything. So I'm just going to move on. Oh, just a second. I got DM. Okay, never mind. That DM wasn't important. I am going to have to DM a bunch of people here, because there's a million people that said, hey, tell me when you're doing the MVP shit so I can bring you in. T-Crank thinks it's 3-0. Yeah. Anyways, moving on to MVP. The first one we got up here, obviously, is going to be top lane. I'm just going to go top down to support here. So the three, if you guys remember, was Kiyoshi, as well as myself, as well as Rexalis, I believe, were the three that we're going to go through. Kiyoshi said I have to DM him so he remembers to show up. So I'm going to do that real quick and then start announcing it. Actually, wait, I'll just put an announcement to everyone and just say, like, everyone, I am starting MVP now. Okay. And check my DMs real quick. Starting now. And Rexalis also wanted me to message him. Starting MVP now. Okay, sorry boys. I just want to make sure people are here if they want to talk shit or whatever. Anyways, so coming up, let me see. Let's get some more exciting music. Let's get number 3 in the top lane. Coming up, we have Kiyoshi coming in with 26 points, 4 votes for first, 4 votes for second, 6 votes for third. Kiyoshi was the top laner for IRL Sluts for coming in about halfway through the season. He has been returning as being their top laner from a previous season. He's big boy. Talk louder. All right, just a second. I'll turn up my mic. Okay, my mic is now cranked, so you guys should be able to hear me. Sorry if you guys couldn't hear me over the music earlier. Sound kind of quiet. Yeah, sorry. All right, so basically how the points worked for this, since I should explain it now. 3 points for a number 1 vote, 2 points for number 2 vote, 1 point for number 3 vote. Your boy Kiyoshi coming in. I'm just going to see if he showed up. I don't see him in the chat, so I'm just going to move on to number 2 for now. So in number 2, the most argued about spot we have here was between Nuggler, myself, and Rexalis. So the number 2 spot actually belongs to myself. Daddy beat me. 12 votes for first, 13 votes for number 2, and 4 votes for number 3. I think I'm actually the highest point person to get second place, so I got something going for me here. Top lane for GBC the whole season pretty much, and I think I was number 2 consistently assigned to Mango a long time, and then right when I got my chance to take number 1, Rexalis solo killed my ass a bunch of times, went 0-5-0, so yeah, kind of got fucked. So I'm going to see if Rexalis is here. I'm going to bring the boy in. Hey, Rexalis, how's it going? Number
shit.
1 in the first
Holy
spot,
shit, dude,
we have
what
Rick
the
Salas with 75 points, the second highest points overall for any position. 17 votes for number 1, 11 votes for number 2. How you feeling, big boy?
I feel like a god. I don't even fucking know, dude. I'm hyped though. I'm hyped. I got a fucking MVP. I'm so fucking happy, dude. Holy shit. I pulled out fucking like everyone out the backwoods. I told everyone to fucking vote for me.
Hell yeah. We actually got a shit ton more votes than I was thinking. I think we have 35 starters in the whole season. I think we got like 37 votes, so pretty good.
Jesus.
Yeah, but definitely contested. I remember I was super excited because when the vote started, I'm going to release the whole sheet at the end so people can look through it, I guess. But basically, when it started, I was ahead by like a shit ton, and you had like almost no votes for like the first like 10, and then you got like 9 number 1 votes in a row, like Vortex and everyone just started voting. It was just a wall of Rick Salas, and I was like,
Jesus.
all right,
Holy fuck.
Yeah, how many points would you have gotten, Mango? You're gonna have to stick through it next season if you want to find out, buddy.
Feels bad, Mango.
Man. All right. Anyways, congratulations. I'm gonna moving on to jungle roll now.
Thanks, man.
All right, moving on to the jungle. Oh, I need to put my music back on. Moving on to the jungle position. Oh, this is probably way too fucking loud this second. I should just keep the music low as shit, to be honest. Just to be that hype. Our 3 people we had for the jungle roll were, pulling up my thing, Loker, Knight of Zed, and Gasp. So in number 3, because I actually don't remember who this is, because I only remember top lane. In the 3rd position, we have Gasp, the jungler for Spell It Chat. Raise it for your boy. 39 points, 5 votes number 1, 6 votes number 2, 12 votes for number 3. So most people had him sitting around the number 3 spot. He's actually rated in the power rankings as number 1 for a long ass time, but he ended up falling off when they went that huge losing streak at the end of the season. So he's down. Most people have him at number 3 right now with 12 votes. I don't see him in Gen Chat, so I'm just going to move on to number 2, which is your boy Loker, up with 48 points. A solid improvement over him with 7 votes to number 1 and 9 votes for number 2. Loker has been kind of a closet performer over on Vortex, not getting too much hype for himself, but just kind of popping off a lot of picks. One of the first guys to really exploit Nocturne when that came out. Really popping off on the, what's that thing called? Why can't I think of his name? Kindred. There it is. On the Kindred pick. Really good champion pool. Probably one of the only like 3 like big like carry junglers that just like his team like plays around him, and he brings up big kills, big stats. So yeah. I'd better get an honorable mention when we get to the mids. Yeah, I'll see what I could do, buddy. Anyways, Loker, oh, yeah, Loker's there. Okay, I'm going to move him in. Let's see. Boom. I don't know if he's going to unmute. Hello?
Hello?
How's it going, buddy?
How's it
you
going,
feeling
man?
getting the number 2? I know you're probably rooting for the number 1. Unlucky.
I'm a little upset, not gonna lie.
Always, but feels bad, man.
He's a good player though. He's a good player.
But still, I think people finally recognizing the man, the myth. You were not even like top 5 for a while at the power rankings, but slowly climbed your way up. Now making it to number 2, the second most number 1 votes in the jungle role. Feels good, man.
Yeah, it feels good.
And you're now the second person to make it top 3 with Rex Salas being number 1 in top lane, and now you being number 2 in the jungle. Looking good for your boys. You got anything you want to say? Some shoutouts?
Yeah. No. I'm just gonna go back to my number 2 hole maybe next season.
Just gonna keep complaining about NetAZ GBC bias.
Yeah, GBC. Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna have to show us in playoffs. See who's really number 1. Anyways, moving on to the number 1 spot now. We have, as people would know, Knight of Zed with the most MVP votes out of any person in any role, getting 81 votes. How you feeling, Knight of Zed? 81 points, 19 number 1 votes. Oh, you accidentally left. 19 number 1 votes, the most out of any player in any position. Absolutely insane. Almost double the second place person. I know Loker's going to be even more salty when he sees this. Because he was probably hoping it was a real close one, like, but unlucky. Was this an expected result for you, Zed?
Well, I mean, I don't know about you to 19 first place votes. I did expect to win it though. I mean, I don't think I'm like be all end all fucking like monster jungler, but like I do think I had a pretty good season. I think it helps that I have like a super good team.
Yeah.
But honestly, 19 votes in first place.
Yeah. Can you give a yeehaw to your fans out there?
Yeehaw!
Amazing. Any shout outs you want to give before we move on?
Shout outs. Okay, so shout outs first of all of GBC. You know, everyone starting.
I need to hit 5 minutes
you know,
of sucking so I can get a Shiv game, by the way. So this is what we're doing.
Okay, so I love you, Fuddy. I love DTS, Drowsy, Doxling, you know, all bros, Mango, Big Bro 2, Dillian, Codename, everyone on the bench, whatever. I love you all, you know. I actually didn't vote for myself. I wish I did that, so I only got 20 first place votes. So
Damn,
that sucks.
humble too.
But yeah, but I mean, I was sort of banking on the fact that everybody else voted me. So if I would have like lost by like a few points or something like that, I'd been pissed as hell. But you know, it's all good. So I don't care. But
All right.
thank
Anyways, we're gonna move on to mid lane now. So in the mid lane, our 3 contestants for this one are, scrolling to my list again, DTS mid, Warpack D1 Genius, Vaughn himself, and why is that one not adding? Carry Me Warpack is okay, yeah, Charlie Smells. Okay, so Charlie Smells, Vaughn, and DTS are the 3 people. Sorry, I'm looking at the Discord names I added to remember who the 3 people are because I can't see it. Well, my it's full screen. Anyways, so in the number 3 spot is Vaughn with 45 points, 6 number 1s, 7 number 2s, 13 number 3s. I think that's pretty good considering how late in the season Vaughn came actually in with the big names he had to compete of, such as Charlie Smells and DTS mid. Pretty awesome that he got it on his first season, bringing it in. I'm gonna pop the boy in here from Gen Chat right now. How's it going, Vaughn? I know you're probably hoping for a higher number than 3, but that's pretty good considering there were 10 other mids in there and you just joined the league like, what, 2-3 weeks ago?
It's true.
So you pulled a lot of boys' hearts, managed to get 6 number 1 votes, so you got some fans out there besides at least one person who's not in your team voted for you, so you got that.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate you, Random, for recognizing my skill. I appreciate that.
Hell yeah. And hey, if this is a vote for Best Xerath, you know you're number 1, baby.
Thanks. I'm just saying, already somewhat troll results, but that's okay. If DTS isn't number 1, I'm torching the server. Get me out.
Oh, alright, well he left, so moving on to number 2. Luckily our server is safe because it's Charlie Smells in the number 2 spot with 53 points, 8 number 1s, 10 number 2s, 9 number 3s. Charlie Smells, where is Steve's in here? I don't know what his current actual name is. It looks like he's not in Gen Chat, but anyways, I'll hype him up myself. So Charlie's been a longtime member of Yeet. He's been known for his roaming champions previously, such as his Twisted Fate and his Talia. But he's also been popping off a bit on the Xerath, even though he lost that game, and Cassiopeia. Just known for having like a huge fucking champion pool in general, basically. So anyways, moving on to our number 1 spot, as everyone knows, DTS mid with 70 points. He's the 3rd highest point, so after Rexalis and Net of Zed. I'm going to bring him in here. Welcome, DTS. I believe
What's up, gamer?
You have the 2nd most number 1 votes, I'm pretty sure, at 16.
Yeah, Zed's fucking
Yeah,
smurfing
Zed's
on me.
smurfing on you
Too many
at
votes.
80 points. Unlucky, 19 number 1 votes, but hey, 18's pretty
Too many
good.
votes.
You got double the number 1 votes at Charlie, so how you feeling? Pretty
As it should
expected
be.
result for you, or were you actually concerned Charlie was going to take your cheeks in the vote?
I mean, if people are voting like on who they think is actually the best mid, I'm not worried, but I was worried, you know. Charlie's got a pretty big fan base, you know.
Yeah,
I'm
bringing
a
his,
pretty big Charlie fan
Illinois boys
myself.
to get that vote going.
Yeah. No, but yeah, I think I'm glad at least I did get first because I think I've played the best the entire season, so I think it's pretty hard to argue that.
Yeah, congrats on achieving first place as always, and I'm gonna be moving on to ADC now, kicking you out.
Yep.
Moving on to the ADC list, we have T-Crank, Eisen, who said he couldn't be here, so I'll do him the honor of actually pronouncing his name right for once, and Sammy, otherwise known as, I Am Groot. There we go. I remembered it this time. T-Crank, Eisen, and I Am Groot. So in number 3, which I don't remember the standings of, is T-Crank with 38 points. Pretty evenly spread out, 5, 7, and 9 going through. 38, pretty respectable. T-Crank's actually been a bit of a sleeper ADC this season. He's been in the league for a long ass time, but he actually started popping off a bit more when the mages came in. Originally, he was kind of like, okay, whatever, Warpack just hides in lane and doesn't really do anything, then hopes he can scale late game. But now he's just chatting on people with Swain, getting like perfect KDAs left, right, and center. So I think that's one of the main reasons he popped up to number 3rd, is just because of his ability to really, I think he's probably the best mage player out of the ADCs in the league right now, and he's really showing being dominant on that. I'm not seeing him in Gen Chat, so I'm just going to move on to number 2. In the number 2 spot, we have Aizen. This one was actually a bit of a surprise for me because I was expecting Aizen to be number 1 because he's kind of like Big Daddy for most of the season. He did get 11 number 1 votes, 49 points. Pretty respectable for himself, but the number 1 actually ended up being Little Groot, coming in from behind. I will say, after playing against Little Groot, it is pretty scary playing against that boy. You're basically on a clock to which he becomes the point where his front line just sits in front of him and he takes your team's cheeks. So it is scary playing against that boy. I don't see him in the Gen Chat, but he's pretty well known for playing like unconventional ADCs, such as like the Tristana and like Caitlyn and like just like all the like big old school crit ADCs, and just like hard carrying on those because it's kind of what he's known for. I think another reason he's so prevalent on the number 1 is when he came in, he came on Hash, which is like a bottom team, and he kind of just said, this team's making playoffs whether they want to or not, and took their screaming bodies up to 6th place. Because Groot is pretty beast. He's one of the few, I think it's one of the few teams where they've had multiple games where he's kind of like the reason their team is winning games. I think their roster is a lot more balanced now, but at least when he first joined, he was just kind of like 1v9 Smurf player. So definitely deserved number 1 spot from Little Groot. Congratulations to him. So moving on, the last one we got support, and this was I think by far the closest number 1 vote. And again, I don't remember who won, but I think most people know who number 1 and number 2 are going to be. This was actually insane how close this one ended up being. I think it was 1 vote, as I recall, the difference for number 1 votes. So anyways, moving on. So support is between Doxling, otherwise known as Powerfully, Daddy Nahor, or Tupapi, and Man Walrus. So in the number 3 spot, we do have Daddy Nahor. I did DM him, but I don't see him in the chat. He got 36 points, so pretty respectable to himself as well. Daddy Nahor has been known for his Morgana, and recently he's been talking a lot about his Pyke, but I don't know if I've seen too much of it. But anyways, for sure, Morgana's pretty much a must ban against his team just because of him. He's one of the few supports that's just really consistently drawing up ins for that. But on top of that, even if you don't give it to him, he's a pretty consistent performer. I think he's known as one of the most aggressive supports in lane, and just really like trying to force plays early game. So yeah, that's Daddy Nahor. I think the only reason he's lower than these other 2 is just because I don't think he's had as many like solo carry performances, possibly just because of his team, but also maybe because of his champ pool. But anyways, moving on to the number 2 spot. Oh, wait a second, I got a DM. Is this Nahor or who is this? Oh yeah. It's just someone asked me. You will get to see the full standings, and I'm gonna be releasing them at the end of the stream. So if anyone's curious, I'm gonna release all the votes and all the standings. Anyways, Man Walrus in the number 2 spot definitely deserved the support from Vortex. This is another player kind of like Loker who got slept on for a long ass time until he kind of shit on enough bot lanes with Aizen that people finally realized his potential. Kind of cute that he's with his boy. You know, they're both number 2. They've both been kind of together at number 1 or number 2 in the power rankings like throughout the whole season. So yeah, definite GBC bias in the votes since everyone's spamming a Twitch chat. Anyways, moving on to my boy in the number 1 spot, we have Powerfully winning by only 4 votes. So look at this, 12-9-7 versus 11-9-6, winning by exactly 2 votes. Powerfully over Man Walrus. This was actually like flipping around a lot when it was going through. So that's my boy, Powerfully. Pyke legend, brand legend. I think he's one of the few supports to actually play ADC as well and win the game, playing the brand ADC one time, filling in. Oh, I just got a DM from Man Walrus. Oh no, you get to say something. Did I not see you in the chat and you were down there? Oh, I'm fucking retarded. Okay, my bad. I brought a vid. Sorry, Ved. I fucking missed you in the chat. I didn't have it scrolled down all the way. Anyways,
well, whatever.
Powerfully's not here, so you get to talk in his place anyways. How's it feeling, man? I'm sure you were hoping for the number 1, but with how close the votes ended up being, I'm sure you're pretty happy knowing that at least you're up there with them, right?
Yeah, it was painfully close, but whatever. I can take comfort in the fact that we won when we played their bot lane, like your bot lane, pretty hard. So that's I can take comfort in that at least, and we'll see how it goes in playoffs, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. So, who are you guys? Just to ask you while I got you here, who are you guys hoping to play against in the first round of playoffs out of the 4 teams right now? Who's your God bless? You're on your knees praying like, I hope this team somehow wins and we get to play against them.
Literally anybody except IRL Sluts, because they eliminated us in season 3 and season 4 in the
So you're
semifinals.
hoping the curse doesn't happen again. Yeah,
Exactly.
Maybe you'll meet them up in the finals. Maybe it'll finally break the curse or something like that. We'll see. Anyways, sorry I forgot to bring you up as Misty in the Gen chat. Congratulations on getting the 2nd place on the MVP standings. Anyways, I'm moving you back down.
Thank you.
All right, so as I stated earlier, the MVP of the overall season is Night is Dead, getting the most #1 votes, the most points overall. Chad Gamer, Night of the Zed, 19 #1 votes, as I said, 11 #2 votes. Big performer. So yeah, total overall MVP of the season ends up going to him. So last thing I'm doing, if anyone has some closing questions or comments, you can ask those now. Otherwise, I'm gonna close this up and I'm gonna let's see, where is this thing? I believe, no. I'm just trying to, here a second. I'm gonna link the actual standings to everyone once I can find where the hell I put them. There we go. Found it. So let me put these up on the stream, and I will post it in Gen Chat and tag it. Boom, bam. Gen Chat posted, or not tagged it, pin it, and pinned. Unable to pin that message. Feels good, man. Anyways, it's in Gen Chat for anyone who wants to see it. Otherwise, I'm going to be going through it quick right now. Let's see. There we go. Let me zoom this way the fuck in. There we go. So basically all it's set up as is it's just an automated response from the doc. So it just puts everything. So it puts your Discord name so that people can see who voted for what, and then puts your votes. Obviously I put myself here. So if you want to shit talk people for trolling their flame them for who they voted for and trolling, go ahead. This is the place to do it. This is what I was saying. I was winning up until here, and then the boys came in, and all of a sudden I was not first anymore, with Rexalis kind of taking my cheeks here down at around row 15 with Loker starting it off. So that's pretty funny to me, at least. Moving on to the overall standings, because people are asking. It's just in another tab. So here you can see him through. I know Sharkbait was asking, so I'll scroll down to that quick. You are number 4, Sharkbait. Congratulations, you made it. 25 points. Yangsu actually getting 15, pretty good. And there is no one that got less than 2 votes, I think. Svensson getting 3 votes, pretty good. Pretty sure he voted for himself for number 1. Flame Dav, new player, getting 4 votes. You know, Jackie Chan, new player again, getting 5 votes. Tim T, or sorry, points, I mean, not votes, getting 2 votes here. So everyone got at least 2 votes. So pretty good. I'm happy for everyone for actually showing up and voting for this. Yeah, so if you didn't make top 3 and you want to know where you are and jerk off to it or something, like, here you go, Ropey. You came 4th. Josiah and Freshburger actually tying for 4th here. The 2 tank Brodies high-fiving each other, going at it. Other honorable mentions, Karama, pretty distance from the people below him here as a number 4 spot. Edzy and iGlory both really close together in the number 4 and number 5 spot as well, coming up here. And then another honorable mention, I guess, would be Sharkbait, who already mentioned, being at 25 points. You can smell the bias in these votes. Yeah. Anyways, hey, come on. People are flaming Hamilton for voting for himself, but to be honest, if you didn't vote for yourself for number 1, you're trolling anyways. Come on, man. You gotta vote for yourself. Alright, anyways, I'll let you guys go through this and flame yourselves in Gen Chat. You seem to be doing a good enough job of that. That's all for me for now. Unfortunately, Estro's isn't here, so I'm not gonna do a full playoff predictions with a bunch of guests and everything, but I guess I should release my actual predictions for playoffs and points. People can flame me when I'm wrong for that as well. I'll see you guys after the first round with another review. TTYL.